Alright, Broken Mech has made another sloppy, irresponsible distortion video. So, I'll have to do this correcting thing again.
So,
yeah, great start. Where'd you get the name Broken Mech, by the way? If you're going to talk about cults and sycophants and all this other followers and all that stuff, why don't you tell us that story?
watched Inmendham's last video, and I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, it seems like you're just really obsessed. You got one big boner for me, right?
Because he does articulate the sort of inevitable implication of his moral philosophy, which...
Yeah, well, whatever. His definition, his description of our reality, our circumstance. I mean, it's not really my moral philosophy. It is a theory of moral philosophy.
Which the conclusion that he articulates in that video is that people in the West should commit collective suicide. They should...
Yeah, whatever. I used that as a, yes, as an example to point out just how gluttonous we are, that we're way, way, way beyond responsible bounds. That if you're going to go by efficiency, you could have 10 lives of high quality for the single life you could have at our high inefficient dependencies. So yeah, that's the equation. You could have 10 more efficient human beings existing in the world, 10 more for every one of the gluttonous pigs existing in the West by resource consumption alone. Yeah, that's just the fact. It's not my fault. That's where the fact is, okay? Because the fact is that color. I didn't make it that color, okay? That's the way the fact turned out. Now, why don't you argue how that's not true? How it's not true that we consume 10 times the resources as people living in other countries.
Blow their brains out. That would be the ethical thing to do because of the...
No, look, the first ethical thing to do, as I pointed out in the video, is to stop reproducing. Stop playing your little Frankenstein monster game and impositioning this life thing. Quit waking the peaceful dead and dragging them into your imperfect, sloppy pigsty of a fucking civilization. So until you do your civilization responsibly, you have no business imposing it on somebody else. I've made tons of analogies, but it's like having a shitty roller coaster, a rickety piece of shit roller coaster. Kids fly out it all over the place. There's all kinds of excessive mayhem, destruction, harm, and suffering imposed because it's a sloppy, reckless, rickety piece of shit. And you irresponsible assholes keep putting new kids into it. I said, make the bed before you put a kid in the fucking bed, you bastards. That's what I said. I didn't say anything about murdering anybody or telling anybody to commit suicide. I said, clean it up before you create some new victim to be victimized, cunt. So again, you've just distorted and perverted the argument to suit your own little maliciously motivated petty agenda.
The cost that their existence imposes on other sentient life.
Yeah, I didn't even get into what we impose on other sentient life. I just got into what we impose on each other with our stupid wars over stupid things, with our inefficient politics, our inefficient social systems, our inefficient economics. We have done nothing up to any kind of acceptable standard by any civilized intellectual consciousness. The reason why you assholes accept this slop is because all the rest of the pigs are pigs, so you've decided to be a pig.
And this is the problem that I've tried to point out with this type of utilitarian ethics.
Oh, yeah, the problem. Why don't you point out how it's not the fucking truth? Why don't you make an argument defeating it as a theory, explaining how you have some alternative explanation of value and what is important, and how it is so much more reasonable than this other theory of truth, instead of this bogus, wimpy, shitty pop culture crap argument that, oh, I'm just gonna play on your sympathies. I'm gonna put a little stuffed animals and play little juvenile, immature games like my little 17-year-old girlfriends and shit on the internet. We'll play little sissy girly sleepover games with philosophy. That's what you're doing here. You're not fucking coming up with a theory of value and saying, here's a much more reasonable one. You're just saying, look, the human race is all addicted and shit. That's the way we are. And so it's not about the truth. It's what satisfies our fucking addictions. Well, that's not much of a fucking argument, jackass.
Is that not only would that ethical system conclude that collective suicide would be justifiable, it would also equally conclude that mass murder would be just as justifiable.
Oh, just as. No, see that the first step is to stop being Frankenstein. Then you don't have to have, the mob doesn't have to come to your castle and doesn't have to burn it down and tell you you're an asshole. So stop being Frankenstein, okay? Stop waking the dead. Stop imposing until you have a right to do it. Till you can do it with some sort of rational argument that says, here, I'm not being a selfish asshole. I'm actually doing this for some fucking reason. Some rational purpose will be accomplished by me procreating beyond me satisfying my own stupid, petty, wimpy shit desires. Okay, so first do that. Now, if you fail doing that, well, then yeah, you're subject to judgment. And to be perfectly honest, if there was a red button in front of me for me to press to just blow the whole fucking universe up, what inhibition should I have? And why would, if it happened in an instant, if you never even knew it goddamn happened, by your own philosophy, by your idiotic, nonsensical philosophy that doesn't think anything matters or is important or can be stated with any kind of certainty, to any kind of reasonable standard of certainty, then why would it even matter to you? Why would you give a fuck? So it's just a nonsense argument. But this idea, you're going to play with the words, you're going to play with emotions and call it murder when, okay, fine, it suspends the existence of life on Earth. Well, guess what? That's going to happen someday anyway, asshole. So you're going to say the sun is going to murder the human race? Is that what you're going to call it? Murder? Because it's an inevitable process? But whatever. Again, let's reiterate. Okay? The first choice is to stop being reckless reproducers.
For the exact same calculation and the same reasons that Inmendham gives. So
again, but see, it's about this. Whose fault is it if we are not running efficiently? If a dog has rabies, you don't blame the dog, you don't blame the rabies, you just accept the circumstance and you say, well, it's not functional, okay? It's not working. Now, you say the human race is working. It had World War I, it was working. It had World War II, 70 million people destroyed, maybe 100 or 200 or 300 million more horribly their life compromised into crap. So that's okay. So, and it just, what line will you ever draw that says, no, it's not acceptable? You will live like fucking cockroaches. There's just no doubt about it. You will diminish the quality of the average, the median life into absolute motherfucking shit unless something stops you. Because you're sadistic and you're masochistic.
Anyway, I just wanted to point that out, that basically Inmendham's philosophy,
Inmendham's theory of truth that is shared by other people, that again, you have not made any argument refuting in any way. This is the math. I didn't invent the math. I didn't invent the World War II. I didn't invent the abominations that go on. I didn't invent elephant man disease. I didn't invent polio. I didn't invent AIDS. I didn't invent all this slop and suffering, you asshole. I didn't invent cancer. All right? This is stuff that you're accepting, not stuff that you can demonstrate to be an acceptable circumstance to impose on somebody.
Resolves to nothing short of a advocate. He's advocating for mass suicide or mass murder.
Again, I'd never advocate for suicide, you asshole. So that's just stupid. Not even in the smallest sense. People send me PMs. I should mention it here. Why not? You know, and they're really not happy, and they're in a bad place, and they want some advice, and I don't have a whole lot of advice, okay? I mean, yeah, life sucks, but the point is you can't escape. There's no jumping off of this lifeboat, okay? There's no, okay, I'll just get the hell out of the game, because these Frankensteins will reanimate you. You will wake up in, you know, Bangladesh, you know, eating dog shit. Okay, that's where you're gonna become conscious again. Consciousness will re-arise on planet Earth in some shitty circumstance. And yes, you won't have any memory of your past life, but does it really matter? You're gonna be a human being, and you're gonna be on planet Earth, and you're gonna be conscious. And so if you don't get all egomaniacal about it, yeah, it's the same goddamn thing. So if you don't fix the future's bed, you're gonna sleep in it one way or another. Consciousness of equal quality to yourself is going to be stuck in that fucking shithole. So you might as well hang in there and try to fix this shitty place, okay, then rather than bailing out. Because there is no bailing out. You can't get out of this rat fucking shit maze. You just can't do it. They won't let you be free. Consciousness will be shoved back into their fucking goddamn colon.
In order to balance this equation that he has determined is the equation to ascertain value.
Yeah, and you haven't refuted any of it. Again, you haven't. You haven't said a damn thing. Undo. All right, consumption, reproduction, cannibalism, and addiction. Undo those as the elements of what life on planet Earth is. That's what it's fucking made out of. I didn't make it. I didn't invent it. I didn't create it, okay? The fucking goddamn universe did. So go complain to the universe that you think it sucks, that the math sucks. But I didn't make the math suck.
In the universe. So, personally, I think that indicates a serious problem with Inmendham's moral philosophy.
Yeah, so we should judge a moral philosophy based on whether or not, you know, it tastes good. Or, you know, it sounds good. But, you know, we won't analyze it with some sort of rational measuring stick or some sort of rational standard. No, it'll just be this mushy bullshit. This wimpy, sissy philosophy crap.
And, you know, I think that people who adhere to Inmendham's philosophy or claim to agree that what he's saying is true need to think hard about, you know, how do they justify their own continued existence inside of this moral system inside.
Yeah, well, how very helpful. So he's basically saying to people, well, look, Inmendham's, and he's not going to mention all the other philosophers out there who've talked about life's futility, even Buddha. And so instead he's just going to say, well, because they are dark and they have this dark conclusion about the shit we're stuck in, you should just kill yourself. And so he's whining about such activity, and yet he's basically telling people, well, yeah, if you believe in that truth, then you should. And that's very helpful, jackass. Yes, thank you. Yeah, help push them off the cliff, you dumb shit. I mean, completely unnecessarily, anyway. I mean, like I said, I can't argue that people should live miserable lives. But how are you helping them cope with your nonsense, shithead? What, you think they're going to change their whole fundamental philosophy and believe in your Santa Claus or your fucking unicorns? Well, they're not. Yeah, they've got the truth figured out, and it's problematic. And you can't understand that? Then you're a fucking idiot. Well, we already know you're a fucking idiot. You're a petty fucking idiot.
Out of this value equation that Inmendham is talking about, it seems clear to me that the very first conclusion you would come to is that you yourself should commit suicide. That would, and unless you personally think that you have the doomsday device that Inmendham talks about. I mean,
yeah, well, that's true, right? You know, if the only way suicide works is if you can prevent you Frankensteins from bringing you back to life again. What good does it do Frankenstein to kill himself if Dr. Frankenstein is still alive? And that's the real dilemma here, is that you'll just keep playing the sloppy game. All right, you'll keep putting people here who are going to be smarter than you, and they're going to figure out that your shitty little poop-filled sandbox isn't worth the investment. You know, but it's going to take them some years to do that. They're going to have to live in your schlop and your shit culture, and they're going to get caught up in your crap and your stupid, petty, king of the hill bullshit games and all your other egomaniacal nonsense. And maybe it's going to take them 20 years or 25 years to figure out they've been fucking hoodwinked, they've been shammed completely, and they're stuck in a shithole. Yeah. And you just helped them a lot. You just made their life a lot easier by just saying, oh, you really can't do anything about it, so you can't do anything about it, so...
Short of that, your greed is, you know, as Inmendham says, your addiction is all that's driving you forward. And...
yeah, well, what's doing it? That's right. So you talk about it like it's something invented out of nowhere, like that doesn't exist. Where's an example of what human beings are doing that doesn't have something to do with just a contrived addiction? You can see it in the very fact, just like in religion, that because none of it's consistent. There's 17 versions of 1,700 versions of Christianity. Yeah, so you can see the fallibility of the whole thing in the diversity itself. I mean, you could almost condition, like Pavlov, you can condition a human being to be obsessed with any kind of stupid gold. You can make anything into that cheese they're going to chase. You can make it, oh, I have to have the best makeup, or I have to be a Super Bowl hero, or I have to be the smartest at the spelling bee, or whatever the fucking stupid thing is. But you're all fucking chasing something, you asshole, and that's all it is. It's just a stupid, dumb rat in a fucking dumb-ass maze, chasing, and never catching anything that means anything.
You don't really have any way to rationalize or justify your own continued imposition of suffering in the world.
Yeah, and it's a sad truth, isn't it? But like I said, we don't have to be that bad. We don't have to pay Chinamen to die in shitty coal mines. We don't have to do all the crap that we do. We don't have to make it as shitty a world as it is. But the truth is, it's got to be a lot better than it is to be civilized by any rational definition of that word. So again, you haven't proposed your counter theory, asshole. Give us a description of your rainbow, your happily ever after rainbow theory of existence on planet Earth, how it's all going to be okay, and it's not going to be wiped out someday by a comet. The sun's not going to explode. The human race isn't going to annihilate itself in some sort of disgusting, horrible, soylent green future. Yeah, give us your explanation, jackass, of how it's all going to be fucking-K. Oh, you're not going to do that. Yeah, no surprise there. So anyway, I just, but yeah, it's just all this crap in the comments. Comment crap everywhere. Just piles and piles of comment crap from this asshole. Oh, look at this. Oh, well, I like that guy, but 3 parts. Come on, fella. Let's see. Seems to me you are making an argument for why mass murder is a greater imperative than personal suicide. Well, I don't know what that meant exactly, but can't think about what things mean. Let's see if I can find a broken mech comment. Let's see. I'm saying it is unavoidable implication of his utilitarian ethics. Yeah, like I invented this kind of thinking. Like again, I didn't invent the fact that the math sucks, asshole. I didn't invent this stupid consuming, reproducing, cannibalizing, addicted bullshit. He explains the method by which value should be measured in his last video, and it is my contention that this method would not only justify suicide. Well, why can't suicide be justified? Why? What is you? So you're telling me that if somebody doesn't want to live, if they don't have a passion for it, if they don't have enough passion to say I want to live, that somehow you should impose that passion on them, that somehow you should get them addicted to something so they can find some kind of justification to keep on going? Why would you bother? If they don't have the passion, why don't you just concede the point and give them a graceful exit, you stupid cunt? But also murder. Again, murder. Whatever. Gary uses this ethical scale to conclude that the ethical thing to do would be for people who live wasteful and inefficient lives in the West to blow their brains out. Well, whatever. I used it as a metaphor. But again, you haven't countered the truth of it. If we have one Karen Ann Quinlan consuming $10 million to live in a vegetative state, what could you do with $10 million in Africa when the average yearly income is like $75? Just how many people could you give a year's income to in Africa with that money? And you're going to tell me that wouldn't create life, that wouldn't preserve life, that wouldn't enhance the quality of life, a substantial amount of life? Is there any other rational way to look at it? Idiot, fucktard, moron. Anyway, by this same standard, it would be ethical to kill them all. Again, it's not. There's no necessity to kill anything. Again, if you stop waking the dead, if you stop creating new zombies. All right, no one has to shoot the zombies, but you won't let it go. You people keep on forcing it and forcing it and forcing it, and will take no responsibility for the mess you made. You just blame it on nature or blame it on some other inanimate object like a god or some other delusion. The rainbow did it. The unicorn did it. I couldn't help myself. You're the one with all the fucking excuses. There's no excuse for this irresponsibility, and that's the word for it. It is irresponsible, and you're taking no account for the irresponsibility. You have no remorse or regret or humility whatsoever. You just arrogantly do as the rest of the fucktards do, and then say we are the fucktards, and anybody who doesn't do what we fucktards do must be somehow stopped or silenced or are called murderers. Well, fuck you. So anyway, longer than I thought it would go. Sorry. Anyway, I'm going to make a response to some of the video responses Nicotine got. Not that they're new responses. I mean, I really hate that when people just post their old videos as responses. I mean, really, it's kind of lazy. Anyway, so I'll get to that. and such and so forth. Did a featured creature that's pretty good, actually. Number 4, I think it is. Yeah, number 4. Yeah, pretty good. Anyway, till next time.